What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a brand new video. Now today I have a very interesting one for you all. On my right you have a 7.5 Golf, on my left you have a 7 Golf. Now both cars are R-line models of their model years, and we're going to be doing a bit of a comparison, but the main question I want to answer is, are these worth it to buy right now? Now I'm going to tell you all the things you need to know about these cars, from their specifications to the pricing to what you get from both packages. Now I really do hope you guys enjoy this one. Let's get right into it.
As I woke up one morning, just thinking about this night. As I woke up one morning, just thinking about this night.
Okay, so now as usual we'll start with an exterior and interior overview. Now we're going to look at both cars side by side, literally, and we're starting with the front and the lights. Now both cars come with xenon main beam lights, LED daytime running lights, but these actually have LED cornering lights as well. On my car the LED part is only the daytime running light, the main beam is xenon, the cornering lights are actually halogen. So you have the same R-line badge on both cars, so the same font and styling overall. Now on the 7.5 they introduced like a kind of honeycomb effect on the lower bumper, which just helps the car look a lot more modern. And with the L-shaped daytime running lights, you can tell that this is the more modern car, and in a sense it looks a lot more aggressive, especially with these side pieces right here. You have a kind of a front splitter going on, which you find the same thing on the actual R. So overall exterior, I think I'll give it to the 7.5, but I feel like the 7 just looks a bit more unique because there's actually a lot less of these that you also see on the road and on the market. So if you come around to the side, both cars get 17-inch rims, but on the 7.5 they are two-tone, glossy black and silver front fascia, whereas on the 17-inch once again, but monotone. But you could opt for different rim stylings, so you can also opt for a two-tone style with the glossy black and silver front fascia. If you look at the side profile, both cars being R-lines, they have more aggressive side skirts. As you can see, the whole body of the car just looks a lot more aggressive. If I walk around to the 7.5, you can see you have a lot more protruding side skirts, which are actually finished in gloss black. So yeah, a lot more unique. Now the overall silhouette on the cars is exactly the same. As you can see, exact same silhouette. They only introduced minor tweaks to some of the cosmetics, lights, bumper touches and so on. Now that we're at the rear, at the back, the one thing I don't like about these is the fake tailpipes. As you can see, totally horrible. Whereas here you get proper twin exhaust tailpipes. This is literally cool. But one thing I don't like about this one is the badging. You have so many unnecessary badging. TSI, Blue Motion technology. Yeah, that is a bit clumsy in a way. Whereas here it just says Golf. While we're here, you get LED tail lights with dynamic turning signals. Just hold on for the beeping ignition on sound. Hazards. As you can see, cascading turning signals, which is always a cool touch. I think I'll also put on the hazards on this one. Yet another ignition on beeping sound. But yeah, as you can see, LED tail lights, but you don't get cascading turning signals. Now the other thing I like about the 7.5s is the turning signals on the front are actually integrated into the daytime running lights. So you have, when you have the indicator on or the hazards on, the DRLs change into the indicator lights, which is ever so cool. Whereas on the 7, you have this bottom section which is dedicated to the indicator. Now I think I'll leave it right here with the exterior. I think right now let's actually check out the interior, and we'll start with the 7.5. Okay, so the interior on the 7.5. Now, like with the exterior, the overall layout is exactly the same. I think the only things that they introduced in here is a slightly bigger infotainment screen, and you now had the option of a digital instrument cluster, which I highly like. But in here you get full leather wrapped seats, which are also heated. Multi-zone climate control was available on both cars actually, but this one has the single zone. Now I'm not sure if keyless access was available on those cars. I think it was only available on the GTIs and the Rs, but don't quote me. On these I'm pretty sure they were available, and this car is also spec'd with keyless access, so you can enter the car without using the key, leave it in your pocket. There's a little section on the door that you touch to lock and unlock the vehicle, and there's an engine start button inside. Now this infotainment screen is spec'd, or is available rather, with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, although it is wired, so you need to plug in a USB port. But yeah, other than that, quality in here is amazing. All the materials are exactly the same as you find in the 7, but the trimming is actually very interesting. It's not actually gloss black, it's more of a very dark gray, which is a lot nicer than the gloss black you find in the GTIs and the Rs, because that one scratches a lot and it is a lot more prone to fingerprints. This one is actually very nice. It doesn't pick up a lot of fingerprints, so it's actually somewhat similar to the trim you find in my car, although in my car the shade is a lot lighter and it's not actually a glossy finish. But yeah, very nice cabin overall. Panoramic sunroof, white roof liner, although I wish they did a black roof liner instead, which always looks cool and it's less prone to dirt. But yeah, that's the interior of the 7.5. Let's check out the 7. Okay, so the interior on the Mark 7. Like I said, in there the layout is exactly the same with a few minor tweaks. Now you get the smaller infotainment screen in here, which does look dated, but it's still available with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is once again wired. Now also in here you could spec multi-zone climate control, but this one has single zone, no keyless access and stuff like that. But I do have features like a reverse camera, which I noticed that car doesn't have instead. Now you still have the old school analog dials in here, so different from the 7.5's digital instrument cluster, which yeah, so a few things you can tell are starting to show their age in here, but I don't think it's anything bad, because both cars also come with stuff like an electronic handbrake, which you don't find in stuff like the Polos. Even the latest generation Polo still doesn't have that. Now the comment I made about the trimming looks very similar, but the shade is a lot lighter in here and it's not gloss, instead it's matte, which still looks nice also. But yeah, same quality, same materials everywhere, in terms of practicality as well, exact same stuff. A very practical interior, huge door pockets. You have a center cubby right there, which is also integrated with an armrest. The same glove box, which is absolutely huge. Panoramic sunroof once again. White roof lining, which I'm not a fan of. And yeah, these seats are also wrapped in leather, but when I got this car it actually came with the cloth seats, and I took it back to the dealer. They had a leather wrapper do the whole interior, so they did it like this, which looks OEM enough, I would say. But yeah, that is the interior from both cars. So now we'll cover the boot. One thing I love about VWs is how you open the boot, actually integrated into the VW badge. It's always so cool. So right here you're looking at about 380 liters of boot capacity, and yeah, it's a very practical boot. You have pockets on either side. There's a little 12-volt socket right there. There's an underfloor where you find a full-sized spare wheel. You can also chuck in some extra stuff down there. And the other cool thing is, actually show you on my car. If you go to my car, obviously exact same car, exact same capacity, and the reverse camera is actually integrated down here, so it pops up down there, which is a very cool touch. So as you can see, exact same boot, 12-volt socket once again, 2 pockets on either side, underfloor with a full-sized spare wheel. Very nice. Okay, so now let's talk pricing. So we're going to chat about money. So interesting enough, these kind of sit in a similar price bracket. Let's start this side. Now on these ones, specifically the R-line models, they range anywhere from around 240,000 rands for the very high mileage cars, and they go all the way up to around 350,000 rands for the more low mileage cars with about 40 to 50,000 kilometers. Now this side, high mileage cars range anywhere from around 270,000 rands, and they go all the way up to around 450,000 rands for the later 2020 models with about 40 to 50,000 kilometers as well. Now I've done a full breakdown of the ownership and maintenance costs of my car. I'll link it down in the description below. Now since the underpinnings of the cars are exactly the same, exact same engine, exact same power, gearbox and all, I would assume the running costs on this should be the same as well. So do check out that video if you want to have an idea of that. So guys, for the driving part, you're joining me inside the 7.5, and instead of focusing on how the car drives and all that jazz, I'm instead going to tell you why I think these are worth buying right now over some of their rivals, but mainly over a lot of these new cars that have gotten crazy expensive, like the new facelift Polo and so on. Now, reason number one is value for money. I feel like where these cars are priced at right now, they are very, very affordable. If you just have a budget of about 350,000 rands, you'll get a very decent one of these. Now you can buy either of them, the 7 or this facelift 7.5. Now depending on your taste, some people might prefer the fresher look of the 7.5, but the 7 is still an amazing looking car, both inside out. But like I said, I'm pretty sure there'll be people who find the 7 to be a bit more dated. Now overall, I feel like in the looks department, when it comes to buying, the 7.5 is the way to go, simply because it looks just as good as a lot of these newer models, ranging from the Polo, even the Golf 8, even though we don't get the Golf 8 TSI yet, we only get the R and the GTI, but you get my point. So reason number two is that they are very easy to run. They are literally not expensive to maintain. I linked the video down below of the maintenance cost of my car, but I'll give you a brief summary. Now, a regular service on one of these is around 3,000 rands. Now, to buy a service plan or to extend a service plan, it's about 5,000 rands, and from that you get 2 free services. And things like tires, it all depends on which brand you go for, but for one of these giant main tire brands like Michelin, Goodyear, Continental and so on, for a full set on one of these you're looking at about 8,000 rands. So they go for about 1,700 rands per tire, so not too bad if you ask me. So reason number two is the very low running costs, even when it comes to fuel. Now fuel economy on these is absolutely brilliant. Now VW claims 5.5 liters per 100 kilometers on this engine. That is the 1.4 liter turbo 4-cylinder, 92 kilowatts, 200 newton meters of torque. On the 7.5s you can also get the 1 liter 3-cylinder motor, but I don't recommend it at all. Rather go for the 1.4 liter. It is an amazing blend of power, effortlessness, but still maintaining good fuel economy. Now the other reason reason number 3 that is they are still very modern. They come with all the modern gizmos that you'd ever want, especially the 7.5 digital instrument cluster, relatively big infotainment screen, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, heated seats, multi-zone climate control. Literally anything you can think of you will get in one of these cars. Now, reason number 4, and I think this will be the final reason, is the overall package is still amazing. Good practicality, amazing performance, amazing fuel economy, great ride comfort, and yeah, when you combine everything, this overall package is just incredible. Now, I would 100% buy one of these over any of the newer Polos. Now, a relatively spec'd Polo Life will set you back anywhere from around 430,000 rands for a Polo Life with, yeah, not even a full spec, that is closer to a base spec rather. So yeah, when you start looking at such things, these look like an amazing buy, because you can still get these relatively low mileage. I mean, 40,000 kilometers, 50,000 kilometers is nothing. My car is currently sitting on 194,000 kilometers, still runs very beautifully, no issues whatsoever. So yeah, that is the main purpose of making this video. I wanted to highlight why I think these are an amazing car, or amazing cars to buy right now in 2024, and probably even going beyond. Now, big thanks to the owner of this car. It actually belongs to a viewer. Do check him out on his socials, of which they'll be on screen right now, and I'll also link them down in the description below. Now, I really do hope you guys enjoyed this one, and until next time, that's cheers from me.